Hello, my name is Oliver and today is day 11 of recording 100 videos for the first 100 days of 2026. Today we're going to be talking about DNA. Now you might be wondering, why would I, some random person, want to talk to you about DNA? It's only the biometrical stuff that builds us and animals and fruit and veg and everything around us. DNA is the molecular structure of our universe. Why would I, who seems to be just this weird 26-year-old dad, want to talk about DNA? Well, I'll tell you why. I absolutely love it. My favourite hobby is DNA analysis, and I love doing family history stuff, family history research. I know a lot about family history. Now you might be wondering, why do I find this sort of stuff so interesting? What could really be so interesting about DNA? You know, we get it, it's us, you know, but well, the best thing about it really is discovering the can of worms, I guess. Now, I know I have a few people who watch my videos who I've opened up some can of worms. Sure, of course, it's not just me, I help lots of other people. I am one of those search angels that they call online. I help tons of people, literally. I've helped a couple hundred people now, just help build their family tree, help them understand their DNA results, help break down centimorgans and things like that, and then process their DNA through AI and process it through other websites to get additional potential matches and find potential issues in the DNA, because that is the thing with DNA. DNA is code. Everything in the world is code, and with that you're able to locate strands of DNA which could be cancerous or anything like that. So for instance, I discovered that in my body I carry a tall gene which naturally makes people taller. My son is very tall, and he is definitely going to be well over 6 foot tall when he is older. I won't surprise me if he's pushing over 6'4", 6'7". I believe my great-grandfather was along that height. My dad is tall. My youngest brother, when I was 17 and he was like 8, he was taller than me. So it is in the DNA. I just didn't get that. It is something called a recessed gene. Now I've got that inside me, and it's absolutely great because it means I'm going to have tall kids. It also means I carry that, like, the blue-eye gene, as did my son's mother. She carried the blue-eye gene, hence why our son has blue eyes. Things like that. They're just so little basic things, but they build up a bigger picture. And one of the things I love is the fact that DNA doesn't split evenly. So for instance, I'll give my own family as an example. My grandfather, my maternal grandfather, he has done a DNA test. My mother has done a DNA test. I have done a DNA test. I got them to do it because it's just really fun. And I discovered that I'm a lot closer related to my grandfather than I would my late grandmother. I share around 30% or so with my grandfather. He is 50% sharing with my mother, and my mother is 49% sharing with me, because of course DNA doesn't split evenly, which means, sorry, he's like 29% or something, but it means my nan, I would have shared about 18% DNA, which is why her brother I match not as much, which is really interesting. DNA like that, just being able to break down things and analyse things, it is such a core thing of our ever being, and I love it. Everyone has a story in their family, and you can build up these family trees and you can connect with all these relatives from all over the world. I have definitely opened some cans of worms, not just in my family but in other people's families. I've discovered random relatives that I didn't know existed, or other people they didn't know existed, and it's crazy. Seeing where the family tree goes and being able to follow it is amazing. And for instance, like, I love the royal family. Their family tree is exquisite. Trying to work out what the DNA share between, for instance, Queen Elizabeth and her husband Prince Philip was a big project in itself, because obviously they're not just cousins, because their parents were cousins and there's lots of intertwining and stuff, so the DNA shares don't match up. It's like with three-quarter siblings, where on average you'd share 50% DNA with a full sibling. With three-quarter siblings you'd share 37.5% DNA. Three-quarter siblings is, for instance, a father who has 2 children and their mothers are sisters, full sisters, so the children would be first cousins and half siblings, therefore three-quarter siblings. So being able to locate things like that in the family trees is absolutely fun, and I like following my own up because everyone is related to royalty somewhere, and I've been able to follow my paternal side up to royal family as well. It's mind-boggling where each connection is. And then we have things like mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, but it's a cell that gets passed down through mothers, which is amazing. And then we also have the Y chromosome DNA, which is great, and you've got these haplogroups which identify what tree you're part of and who's connected to what haplogroup, and I'm in family groups on Facebook where I'm connected to haplogroups. So all these people, we come from the same lineage. We might not share DNA, but we are all related in one way or another. That sounds weird. How can you be related but you don't share DNA? Well, did you know 10% of third cousins are not related on DNA tests? And that's purely because DNA doesn't split evenly. So I've got some cousins who I'm closely related to on my family tree, but then there are cousins who are actually closer to me that I share less DNA just because of how lopsided the family tree is, and I love it. Now, additionally, something that I find amazing about DNA is you who are watching this video right now. There's a very strong possibility that we are related. Everyone in the world is related at most. We're all 50th cousins. But realistically, we're probably a lot closer than we think we are. For instance, if you have blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're from England, the chances of us being close related it's astronomical, to be honest. We could easily be 4th, 5th cousins, and when you go up the family tree and you realise how many great-grandparents there were and who had what kids and everything, it's really not impossible. 1 in 4 people in London are cousins, which is a crazy thought to think. So why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you about DNA and DNA analysis and everything like this? Well, honestly, I just find it so fascinating and interesting, especially now that AI is a thing. We can analyse further details. I was already analysing DNA to work out what genetics I got from like what parent and stuff, and it's just really, really fun. But now with AI, I'm able to locate other stuff. So for instance, I'm part Native American. I know a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy in the United Kingdom. How am I 0.2% Native American? To be honest with you, I don't know. And that's the best bit, I don't know yet. It could be so far up the tree that it's just been inherited down, and who knows what it is. And then, for instance, I have Neanderthal DNA, which is around 3 or 4% Neanderthal DNA, which I have, and I'm able to analyse that. And I believe that comes from my mother's side. I always thought it came from my father's side because of the shape of his head, but it actually comes from my mother's side, which is interesting. Furthermore to this, you're able to analyse mental health conditions and see what gets passed down the tree. Obviously, if there is a mental health condition in your family, we have some in my family, I'm able to see them. For instance, with my grandmother who had mental health conditions, I can see that some cousins got it, some of my siblings got it. You can see where pieces have gone along. Then you can analyse the DNA and realise, hang on, I don't have it. And that's an amazing thing. It's great to be able to see what I do and don't carry and what potential issues that I have, which I may be able to pass down to my son. So analysing DNA and just being able to discover who you are on a biological level is one of the best gifts that anyone can ask for. As I say to people when I help them out with their family trees, for instance, without naming any names, I helped someone out in America who was trying to go through a claim for a will because he believed that his grandfather was actually his father and not his father, who was his grandfather's son. And analysing the DNA and comparing it with some cousins, that was actually correct. So understanding who you are and realising that everyone has a right to their own biology, that is one of the most important things in the world. Everyone deserves a right to their own biology, and I love knowing who I am and what my biology is. And I'm aware that I have relatives who watch these videos. I'm sure that some of my relatives don't like DNA and digging around, and I'm aware that some of them do. As I said, I've got a second cousin twice removed, who she does watch my videos, and she lives in America, and she would have been my nan's second cousin. So aware of that, you know, she helped me quite a lot in the early days with analysing DNA, and I had no idea who she was. And I've connected more recently with some my nan's relatives on my father's side. I've connected with some of her uncles and aunts, children and grandchildren, people I didn't even know. And one of them was actually able to help me connect the family tree to this celebrity, I guess, this war hero who was in the family. And it was always a myth. My dad was told it growing up. It was just a myth. And we've been able to work it out that it's our second cousin twice removed, coincidentally as well. So being able to understand DNA and seeing where it goes all around the world is absolutely amazing. Of course, you have things like double cousins. For instance, my maternal grandfather, he has many, many double cousins. And that's when 2 brothers married 2 sisters and they all had children. And we didn't know they were double cousins. My granddad knew about the family, just he wasn't in contact with them because that's what happens, and we discovered them. I found them on DNA tests. I was like, why are these people coming up close? And I was able to connect the tree. They have a massive tree. They had a massive family group of all the German relatives of the family, all piled together, and I'm in that group now because I'm one of them. And it is amazing to see these first, second, third cousins all growing up and doing their things, and knowing that we're all related and we're double cousins, so we're closer related than we should be. But it's really nice to see that I've got all these connections, and I've made some amazing bonus family through this. Of course, we're already family, but I've made some bonus family of relatives that I didn't know existed, and it's been a journey. It has been amazing, but understanding who I am is the best gift ever. Now, if you do want to do DNA analysis or even just do a DNA test, I do highly recommend it. Go get yourself an Ancestry DNA test. You can download the raw DNA files of Ancestry and put them onto MyHeritage, so don't buy the MyHeritage one, okay, don't. You can then use AI to analyse the raw DNA. You can also use something called codegen.eu to analyse the raw DNA. You can also get the 23andMe DNA test. I understand about the lawsuit and everything, but I believe they've got bought out recently, so yeah, you can make a whole map. And I'm on like 11 DNA websites, so I'm not going to name them all today, but I'm on like 11 DNA websites just to be able to piece family trees together and heritage and finding royal connections, which is absolutely amazing. There's all this royalty connections, and like, I worked out that I'm related to my son's mother. We're like 23rd or 24th cousins. It's crazy, you know, just being able to see these things. And then obviously you've got lopsided family trees where maybe your dad was 80 when you were born and his dad was 80 when he was born. President John Tyler was in that situation. So it's always really cool to find all this stuff. I'm going to stop rambling on about DNA because I could talk someone's ear off about it, and it is my hyper focus and I absolutely love it. If anyone wants help with DNA or anything, just let me know in the comments below, because honestly, I would really like to know. I have been in love with DNA analysis since I was a child. I remember building family trees from less than 7 years old. I remember meeting all these families from different lines growing up, and I've always been able to piece things together, and I absolutely love it. I love it. And sometimes it takes you through different countries. It takes you all over the world. I've got a random third cousin 3 times removed in South Africa, and I've got family in Australia and New Zealand, and family in Canada, and just family just all over the world. And it is absolutely amazing. I love it. I love finding everyone and meeting everyone and having all these amazing relatives and connections. So thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment down below about DNA related stuff. Adios, my mis amigos. I shall see you guys all in the next video, which will be up tomorrow. Goodbye for now.